Hi, I'm Paul Monaco. Welcome to the second episode of the West Haven Virtual Ghost Tour. Today I'm going to be talking about Campbell Avenue, West Haven's main drag. Runs from Captain Thomas Boulevard all the way up to Orange Avenue in Allentown. And I'm going to be telling two stories. One's history and one's a ghost tale. And let's start off with the ghost tale, so let's get right to it. 1956. An elderly gentleman's out taking a walk, first week of July, late at night. His apartment's really hot and he just wants to get outside. And as he walks up Campbell Avenue, there's a group of teenagers in a hot rod on their way back from Savin Rock, having spent the night at the amusement park. They're flying up the street and they don't see the old man until it's too late. But they do swerve, they avoid him. He falls down and hits his head in the street. And when finally help arrives, he's sitting on the curb over by Brown Street on Campbell with a bandage wrapped around his head. And the police ask him, "Sir, what happened?" And he said, "Well, I was just trying to cross the street. There was damn teenagers and their hot rods coming back from the rock. And one of them just flew right by me." He said, "Well, how many kids were in the car?" "There were 4. "Did you get a license plate?" "No." "Anything else you can remember?" "No." "Well, sir, did you bandage your head yourself? Because you've got a bandage around your head." And the gentleman says, "Yeah, wait, you're right. Now that you mention it, somebody helped me. There was a nice man who came over to me, pulled me out of the street, wrapped a bandage around my head." The police say, "Well, sir, this guy could have gotten a license plate. This guy's a witness. We need to find him." And he says, the old gentleman says, "Look, I don't remember anything about how he looked. I can't remember anything about him other than the fact that he was wearing a red jacket." That's 1956. Let's fast forward 40 years later. Another hot day in West Haven. It's the middle of July again, early July. And there's a lady on her way in to get a nice milkshake from the diner over by Elm Street. And out of nowhere, a kid comes running by, grabs her purse. Purse gets tangled. She pulls onto the purse. The strap breaks. The kid's off with the purse. She falls down. People in the diner hear her. They call the police. And when the cops find her, she's sitting in the diner with the purse on her lap. And the police are doing the interview. "What did you see?" "Well, he was a kid. He couldn't have been more than 14 or 15. Little skinny kid just running down the street. Pulled on me and he hurt me. I got my arm is kind of pulled out a little bit, but I'm okay. But off he went with my purse." So the police say, "Ma'am, you're holding your purse." And she says, "Oh, yeah, there was a guy who went down and chased the kid down and got the purse for me." And the police say, "Ma'am, this guy's a witness. He had to see who stole your purse. If we can find him, we can help catch the kid who did it." "What was this guy? Had you ever seen him before? Did he hang around the diner?" No one had seen him. Nobody in the diner had seen him. Nobody outside had seen him. And the only thing she could remember about this guy was that he was wearing a red jacket. So now let's jump ahead another 20 years and we'll go to the St. John Vianney Carnival, last night of the St. John Vianney Carnival. And there's a 8th grader riding home. He has fallen in love with the girl of his dreams. It's his cousin's friend. And he is texting her while riding his bicycle up Campbell Avenue. Now, we all know how this story is going to end, right? The kid hits a pothole. The bike goes one way. The kid goes another way. And when the police find the kid, of course, he's worried, number one, about the fact that he can't answer the girl on his phone, which is now broken, and number two, what his parents are going to say. Well, the EMTs say to him, "Look, kid, you got to go. Get into the ambulance." Now, the kid has his arm in a sling. And as he gets in, the EMT says to him, "How did you put your arm in a sling? Did you do that yourself?" And the kid says, "Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. A guy helped me and he put this sling on for me to keep my arm in place." Anybody want to guess what the guy was wearing? Of course, a red jacket. So we have these 3 tales dating back to the 50s. And in all 3, there's a good Samaritan. Comes out of nowhere. He helps someone in need of help. He's gone before anybody else sees him. Nobody sees the person at all. And the only thing that the person who's helped can even remember is that he's wearing a red jacket. And these are 3 incidences that are documented nobody knows how many other times this could have happened, because certainly in a day, all those people would have forgotten that they had been helped by the man in the red jacket. But it makes you wonder, what's going on Campbell Avenue? Is there a spirit, a presence, an entity? Is there a ghost that's taking care of us? Well, I'll leave that to all of you to think about while I give you a little bit of history about how the Campbell Avenue got its name. So, in order to understand this, we need to go back to July 5th, 1779, which is the invasion of West Haven by British forces. Now, just to understand this, New Haven, Connecticut, West Farms is a hotbed of rebel activity. There's smuggling going on. There's spying on the British going on. There are people rowing boats across the Sound to bring provisions to the folks on Long Island, which is British occupied. So this is just, a great time for the rebellion in Connecticut. The British believe that if they can simply separate Connecticut and Massachusetts from the rest of the colonies, they can win the war. But in order to do that, they need to control the Hudson Valley. And George Washington's troops are packed in West Point. So the British cannot invade the Hudson Valley and control it because George Washington's right in the middle of it. So they come up with a plan. They're going to send Admiral William Tryon up the Long Island Sound, and he's going to invade the coastal towns, New Haven, Norwalk, with the idea that if he can create enough terror, the colonists will demand that Washington send troops to protect the Connecticut coast. That'll weaken Washington's position, and the British will be able to attack. So that's the plan on July 5th, 1779. And this picture, which is the seal of West Haven, shows Thomas Painter, who at that point was 15, standing on Savin Rock, looking into the harbor and viewing the British warships on their way into the harbor. Now, the British are under the command of an Adjutant General, William Campbell. And as the British troops land, Campbell is very clear about the orders that he gives them. He wants no looting. He wants no violence. He tells them essentially, we are not going to attack the civilians. We do not make war on subjects of the crown. And so the invasion occurs. Campbell organizes his men. Painter, meanwhile, has gone up the what's now Campbell Avenue to the Grain, where he's awoken Noah Williston, who's the reverend there. And he is an ardent patriot. So he has rung the church bells. The West Farms militia, our Minutemen, have assembled on the Green, and the battle ensues. Now, the Americans are badly outnumbered, and so the British have no trouble. But Campbell is as good as his word. He does not allow any looting. In one case, an old lady comes out and says that the soldiers are taking her family jewelry. He stops the invasion. He finds the soldiers, and he returns the family silver. But most interesting is Noah Williston is standing on top of the steeple on the church on the Green, and he's directing the rebels because he can see. And he falls into Campbell Avenue and is immediately attacked by the British soldiers. And once again, now in this case, he was technically a combatant, but once again, Campbell will have none of this. He immediately calls off the soldiers, has Williston pulled out of the street, and has his own private surgeon set Williston's leg. The invasion is ultimately successful, and the soldiers get to New Haven and they destroy gunpowder and other arms. But on the way back, William Campbell is killed. And this happens up in Allentown, and across the street from the University of New Haven, across Boston Post Road, is a monument to William Campbell. And that monument says, William Campbell, July 5th, 1779, blessed are the merciful. And because of his concern for the welfare of the people of the place he was invading, not only is this monument dedicated to him, it is the only monument dedicated to an invading soldier anywhere in the United States. But the main drag, Campbell Avenue, is named after an invading British soldier. So I just told you two tales. One is about the invasion of West Haven and a British soldier whose mercy and compassion toward the people he was attacking was so great that the townspeople named the monument after him. And I also told you about a presence that shows up on Campbell Avenue during the first week of July that helps people, disappears, no one sees him, and the only thing they can remember about him is that he's wearing a red coat. Now, I will leave it to you to decide. Did I just tell you two stories or did I tell you one? Thank you very much.